So, Coach, with the win, obviously there's no such thing as a must-win this early in the season. But how big was it to get that win before you went in conference on the road?
I mean, the last thing you want to do at home is to drop 2 games to start, league play, and so it was. Yeah, it was. I think the guys that had their backs against the wall responded the right way, and just overall, you just got to try and avoid, having weeks like that if you want to, really go where you want to take it as far as you want to take it. You can't split at home, so still a lot of work to be done ahead of us.
Beyond just playing in an opponent's gym, what makes going on the road harder?
It's mainly that. I mean, it's teams are just more comfortable at home, and they're in their own environment, and the crowd, and it's just I mean, it's tougher because of mainly those things, and then there's also other things like Cal has had to go on the road for 2 games, and they lost at UCLA and USC, so now they're going back home with desperation to try and get a win, and at home in front of their fans. So that's that plays a role in it also.
Are there things that you've learned about just the process, or how you structure your trips that help?
Not particularly. We're kind of I'm doing the same thing that I did leading into Georgia, going to play that road game, and knowing that we have an additional day in between, which helps on the road, but nothing out of the ordinary. I try and stay into a routine. I don't want to be a different coach and do different things and change what we're doing, and that doesn't send maybe the right message to the team.
Do you expect to keep the lineup the same as you did on Saturdays?
I'm undecided on the lineup, and that will that'll probably, you'll know, I guess, like 15 minutes before the games on that one.
So is something you said about the element of surprise being there or maybe not being there after what you showed against Colorado?
I'm sorry?
The element of surprise, just playing zone right off the bat and that new lineup right off the bat. I mean, how do you handle it from here on out as far as teams being prepared or maybe not being prepared for it?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it in the small doses that we showed zone against Mississippi State. It worked pretty well, and when you have certain lineups, I think it could be more impactful defensively. But I said after the game the other night, if the guys had the right mindset to defend and be physical and play with great energy, and we used our wingspan and our athletic ability to get deflections, and underrated plays in the game were like Tayshaun Cherry, deflecting a pass and Lou getting it and showcasing his athletic ability in the open court. Those are plays that get the whole team really excited. Tate went for another one and jumped over our bench. He had another one that was in the second half of 50-50 at half court where he just dove on the floor and got it. And so plays like that are winning plays, and so we're hopeful that regardless of what defense we're in, that we get guys that are playing that way on the defensive end.
How important is it to stay focused after a win like that?
I don't think we have anything to be really particularly excited about. So it was wonderful, and I think it showed if we play a certain way and what the results could be. But you have to do that over and over again, and we have not proven that yet, and we have a lot of work in front of us to show that that we can do that on a consistent basis.
How would you assess Romelo's play over the last 4 or so games?
I just think he's got great energy, and he's being physical. When he gets his touches, he's taking full advantage of them. He's as efficient a player as we have right now with his shooting percentages, and he's addressed things that we needed him to address defensively. He's been great in ball screen defense. Again, today on the practice floor, he did some great things with that, and so he's really developing and emerging on our team as a guy that we could count on.
Piggybacking off that, he was obviously a big key in breaking down that Colorado zone, flaring up the middle. And how have you seen his progression of working in the middle and being so effective?
Yeah, I mean, he had the little jump shot, which was nice, and then he wheeled to the hoop another time, and so doing some different things there. And then also he's a willing passer, and we trust him if he gets the ball that he's going to make a good decision. And so it makes sense to try and get him the ball in those spots.
Coach, you split a lot of games in Pac-12 last year on the road. Have you had? You think you got their attention this year to say, hey, we can't do that again this year. We have to take both these games.
I mean, you could say whatever you want. It's just, you know, you gotta do it. You gotta make it happen. So, you know, we haven't proven that we could do that. Believe me, it's something that we've talked about, and you know, there's no guarantees of anything. You know, we're still, you know, I'm just focusing on Cal right now. But you know, big picture, certainly we would love to string together some road wins.
Just generally speaking, is it difficult getting guys to have the sense of urgency that you want them to have in January, when they feel like, oh, we have a lot of season ahead of us still?
It's not unrealistic to think maybe in the NBA to you know, an 82 game schedule to try and, you know, have the emotional investment, the physical investment every night may not always be realistic. But in our schedule, where there are multiple days to recover and refocus, there's no reason that you can't you know, just bring your close to your A effort game and attention to the details we're talking about and ball movement. So if hopefully, you know, the guys saw and got a taste of, if you play a certain way, that things could be really good, but it has to be done like all the time. You can't do it when it's convenient for you.
And Coach, to piggyback off that, how do you feel with obviously players coming off the bench, but the chemistry to this point of the season? I mean, how do you feel even guys coming off the bench or fitting in and doing for the team?
I thought Remy and Lou were stars the way they handled, you know, just because it wasn't their fault that we lost to Utah. There's plenty of blame that could be spread around. It was hard for me to come up with a starting lineup for Colorado based on just that game, the Utah game, and so they didn't start, but they when their number was called, they were ready to go, and Remy went out of his way to distribute the ball and get everyone involved, and made some terrific passes, and Lou has just overall, he was in full attack mode and more efficient than he's been on offense in a few games. So I hope that he, you know, rediscovered some of, you know, what he was doing early in the season.
What's Zylan's availability this weekend? Is he going to make the trip?
Well, Zylan's he's going to Cal, I can tell you that. You know, beyond that, we're still up in the air with him with everything on Saturday. That's still to be determined.
DeQuan, it would, people always want more, kids always want more playing time, more scoring opportunities. DeQuan always just kind of seems like he's cool with his role or whatever. As a coach, I mean, am I reading that correctly? And as a coach, how nice is it to have someone like that?
He's one of the nicest kids I've coached. You know, just like he's very humble. He's you know, very polite. You know, when he plays hard and he gets after it. But I think if you ask any of his teammates, man, he's just everyone likes DeQuan, and he's just a really good person. And then you know, he'll do whatever you ask him to do. You know, he'll play whatever role that you need him to play. So he's you know, he's been one of my favorite guys to coach.
You guys good?
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Walt.